Wade, what's been the disruption of Tuesday's game at home to Sheffield Wednesday being postponed for you?
I was just adapt the week, but I think you get used to being pretty adaptable. Just meant that it was a different Tuesday. Looked slightly different. Monday was match prep for Sheff Wed. Tuesday obviously meant that we couldn't get out on the grass and train, so it's a slightly different session. And then Thursday, Friday, Port Vale prep as was planned.
So was there time actually to get the players together at some point on Tuesday and do something though?
No, but they had their own. They all had an individual session to complete and send back to us. So their work's all been monitored. It's just we couldn't do something collectively.
And in a way, does it give the likes of Elkin Baggett and Ryan Jackson a bit of extra time on their individual recoveries?
Yeah, they're both fine anyway. So I think they were both. I mean, Elkin would have been fine for Tuesday. Jacko's trained yesterday, so yeah, no, they're both on. They've hit the time we expected.
And what news on Liam Sir? Can we assume the protective boots come off now?
Yeah, the boots off, which Cirque is happy about. We'll have a look at him today. We'll see how he comes through today and take him from there.
So, in theory, back in full training then?
Well, we'll just see how he comes through today. So he hasn't been in with the group yet. So he follows his the medical department's protocols to return to train, and yeah, we'll just see how he is today.
And everyone else okay while we're talking injuries?
Yep, everyone's fine apart from Lewis and Dan Adzed. They're the only other two, but everyone else is absolutely fine. Yeah.
And are you getting any closer to bringing in another player in this January transfer window? Any news there you can give us?
No, I'll sit down and speak to Mickey this afternoon. But I'm not aware of. I certainly don't think anything will happen before the weekend.
So on that basis, then it looks like it'll probably go down to the last couple of days, which I guess once you get this far in, is kind of how it normally goes, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of. I think there's probably a limited pool of players. There's a lot of clubs looking for the same type, and I imagine it will be a bit of a. There might be some movement, and once people get the weekends out of the way and the final game and squads start getting finalised higher up the chain and there's knock-ons, I think it'll all start moving about a little bit.
And are you having to fend off any bids for Cheltenham players, or has there been zero on that score?
Not that I'm aware of. I've not been informed of any bids.
Port Vale at home this Saturday. They gave Derby a scare on Tuesday night. Were you able to get to that game?
Yep. Yeah, no, they were. I've seen a lot of Port Vale. Just the way the games fall when you're watching the opposition, seem to watch a lot of Port Vale. But I went to the game Tuesday and they were very good. So Daryl's done a really good job. Obviously got them up last season. He's established them in League One this year. Good experience. Really good experience, good energy, and there'll be a real test.
Got the late equaliser at their place as well. They're very front foot when they play at home. Are they much different when they play away?
No, not particularly. I watched them play at Wycombe a little while ago as well. Had a real go at Wycombe. Had a real go at Derby the other night. No, good energy, aggressive in the best sense of the word, in that they want to go forward, they want to get on the front foot, as you said, and they've had some good results. They're a good side.
And actually, if a team's going to try and be on the front foot when they're away, that's in a way kind of what you want as well at home, isn't it? It gives you a chance for, if you like, a proper game rather than just being hit, solely on counter attacks.
I don't think they'll. I think that's how they we're midway through the season. Every time I've seen Port Vale, that's how they've played. That's how they've set up. So yeah, I wouldn't expect them to be any different, and we'll approach it exactly the same way. We'll be aware of them, and we'll respect their threats, but we'll try and impose our own game on them. And ultimately, comes a point where you respect for the opposition, but you've got to worry about yourself and make sure you take care of your performance and get to the level you're capable of.
Alfie May seems to be hitting a bit of goal-scoring form again at the moment. Obviously, great news. He does seem to like the second half of seasons, doesn't he?
Yeah, hopefully. He obviously had a brilliant second half last season, and he started this one well. So, yeah, good omens.
What is it that sort of is the secret to him? Is it a New Year's resolution?
You'd have to ask Alfie. that. Certainly, I think look at last season, I think Alfie was. I think we always say hard work pays you back, and Alfie in the first half of the season, he was chipping in with a few here and there, but he was training properly. He was doing his gym work. He was living right, and ultimately got his reward for that. And I think he's matured as a player and a person. I think he's got good habits as a professional, and I think ultimately if you do that you get your rewards, and yeah, if he can replicate what he did in the second half of last season, we'll be very happy.
Thanks, Wade. Good luck.
Thanks, Paul.
Wade, just on Alfie, Wade, I think if you look at the form he was in second half of last season, he then had the operation, didn't he? And that's probably slowed him down a little bit at the start of the season. Now he looks like he's getting back to the sort of form he was in. I think he got 16 from the start of Feb last season, and he's matched last season's total at this stage, which, considering the problems he's had with the niggles and stuff, is
you've got Alfie.
Pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty consistent.
You've got Alfie for the pre-match press, haven't you? That's why all the Alfie questions are. Yeah, he obviously had his operation in the summer, so his pre-season was curtailed a little bit. Worked really hard to get himself fit. Looked like he was just getting up to full speed when he did his ankle against Shrewsbury. And then, yeah, he's, like I said, hard work pays you back, and he's worked hard to get himself up to... He's done his rehab, he's trained right. I think you see a fully fit Alfie, he scores goals.
Just one more on Alfie. Is he one of the leaders now, Wade? Because he's obviously one of the more experienced players, maybe not in terms of Football League games, but he's definitely up there in terms of games in his career and his how long he's been around. Do you see him as one of the leaders in the dressing room now?
Yeah, I think so. It's something that we're trying to develop. We are trying to... You think you lost from the group, certainly from last season. Blairy was very vocal, Willow, Boiler, but people step up and fill the gaps. Alfie leads in a certain type of way because he's infectious. He has got that personality where he's infectious and he can drag a few with him. I think the other seniors aren't. They're different characters. It's like a Jacko. Jacko's quite quiet, but the lads will look to him, and because of his experience, because of what he's done, they'll look to him, they'll respect him. So you're looking at Jacko to lead in a different way, you're looking at Cirques to lead in a slightly different way. Just be the best version of themselves and lead in the best way that they know how. But yeah, Alfie certainly falls into that category.
Just on if there is going to be one more in before the window closes, I know every January signing is going to be important and it's a notoriously difficult window, but because you've lost Lewis and had to bring Elkin in, Dan's gone and you've brought in Will, who is your own player, so that's a good for the future 2.5 years. But does it feel like a big one because you wanted to strengthen, but because of the bad luck you've had with injuries, you've actually ended up, and with Dan going, you've ended up sort of filling gaps in the squad, haven't you? So is this the one that you see that will hopefully give you an additional option in the squad?
Well, we'd like to go into every window and we'd like to come out of it stronger than we went in. That would be the aim of every window, but you can't preempt the market, and you have to be. We're not, certainly within the market we're in. We're not going to dominate it. So we're not an Ipswich or a, Ipswich can, for example, that calibre of club, that budget can go and identify exactly who they want and can go and blow everybody else out of the water. That's not us, so we can't shape the market to our will. We are a little bit responsive to it, because that's just the nature of us as a club and the market that we find ourselves in. So to answer your question, yeah, we'd like to, we would like to come out of the back of the window stronger than we went in.
Paul mentioned the late equaliser at Port Vale. It was a good game, wasn't it? 1-0 up. Set up by James on his debut, and then they obviously took the lead. And I think, from what I remember, you were playing about 6 up front towards the end, weren't you, with Dylan? Dylan just the only person back, I think, at one point, and it paid off with Charlie's late goal.
Yeah, and it was a good point, because I think it's proven over the season it's a really tough place to go. We went there with I think Links made his debut, Dan Adzed and TP were our midfield three. So young team, really gutsy performance. Deserved something out of the game on the way we played, but had to show a certain amount of character and fight to get the point in the manner that we did. So yeah, it was a pleasing one.
And you never scored against Port Vale, did you? So the
Did I
series
not?
has come to an end. I don't think so. I had a look, but you did score against Everton, and Duncan Ferguson has taken over at Forest Green.
Sean, that is unbelievably tenuous.
Did you? I don't think you ever came up against a big Dunk, did you? But what was your reaction when you saw him appointed by the local rivals?
I just thought fair play to him. I think that he would have probably quite comfortably had a job for life at Everton. Good job as well. But he wants to get out, and I was going to be a bit blunt there. He wants to get out and get on the cold face and properly test himself. So, just that was my thought. Fair play to him.